Now, I've been playing a lot of indie games lately, but out of all, there was one that piqued my interest of excitement, and that game is Bluefire. Bluefire launched last week, the same day this fascinating development came out, which is funny because I actually pre-ordered this because I saw a couple of pictures and it looked epic. It was on discount for only 15. I didn't want to give up that chance. Now, how does it stack up? Say no more as I discuss on this 3D platform project developed by ROBI Studios and published by Graffiti Games. A game that is heavily influenced by The Legend of Zelda and has some similar mechanics to Hollow Knight. I have many things to talk about and I'm just so excited to get to the point already. But before we start, let me just say that my reviews will be different here and there depending on the discussion to those overall results. I like to try something new without being overwhelmed with a rinse and repeat idea. I understand that not everything I do will be done the way I would want it to be, but I do give it my all despite those mistakes. I will continue to do better because that's what we do best, baby. Without further ado, let's talk about the mysteries of Bluefire. Bluefire takes place at the kingdom of Penumbra, where your purpose is to cover the mysteries of the corruption. A devastating event filled with sadness and sorrow as the fifth of the six gods were overpowered by the Dark Shadow. The strongest god who created life gave into the darkness, for it was destined with greater power. Throughout Penumbra, the darkness spread with no light remaining, in which you are to put a stop to the Queen of Darkness that await you to the Tower of Gods. Your goal is to defeat the three Shadow Lords that protects the Queen's throne and to stop the shadow from spreading through the villages in the land of Penumbra. Despite comparisons towards other past projects, Bluefire received good ratings. Some I disagree on, as I'll further discuss when the topic is more relevant. And as for the gaming community's inexcusable opinions on this development, you'll rarely see anyone talking about Bluefire. Is it because it's bad? It's because if you look at something that's identical to that installment, you would think, okay, so if it's basically this, what's the point of getting this? Well, if you weren't such a dumbass, maybe you would see you're completely in the wrong here. You simple-minded, no intelligent, sorry ass for a gamer, sorry. I might have taken it too far. Allow me to properly speak my mind for what's next to come. I fell in love with its lore, but not as much as realizing how well this was all put together. Just sitting here talking about it makes me want to play it again. It's not only the atmosphere that sets certain tone on what to expect. I also love the soundtracks that sets the right mood that's similar to a loving franchise. Yes, it has some similar game designs with past successors, however it still remains to be its own thing. There are many unique things in Bluefire, some I'll discuss later. But as for this remaining topic, there are key items, unique weapons, and tunics, to the style you prefer. They even added the emotes to the mix, which is pretty fucking cool. Spirits that are very important that plays a huge part to make your character seem more invincible. Bluefire is a challenging game, but it's nowhere near Dark Souls level of difficulty. Stop comparing every game that seems hard to Dark Souls. I don't get what's so hard to understand that balance of difficulty. I'm talking to you critics, by the way. Anyway, Bluefire is more focused on its platforming rather than its combat. I don't think it's bad, but there are times when it seems unfair, especially in some certain specific battles to be encountered. I love dashing through these areas, but the platforming with deadly traps can be obnoxious, irritating, and tedious throughout the entire game. There are plenty of supporting characters that plays their part to the story that gives you a warm welcome throughout the remaining courses. Characters that are filled with joy and can help you by giving you the right items throughout your journey. Even when Penumbra is in a crisis where people suffered in vain, there are still those who have hope and search for answers that are left standing. They're kind, supportive, dependable, reliable, humorous, mean, cool looking. The list stacks up as there are plenty as you progress and search these hidden passages. If you're stuck on a mission, certain NPCs will provide helpful details for you to get to where you need to be throughout Penumbra. The villagers are my personal favorite because although they all look the same, their features and personality makes them pop out represents their own. I have to admit, not a single one here had ever gave me a bad impression of them. Now that's some damn good writing. You can gain very useful valuable items if you complete their side quests, and there are quite a few of them to go around, but that doesn't make it inappropriate, as there will be items around these levels that you would think you've seen it all, when in reality you haven't. And I have another reason yet to go back just to play this hidden piece. Very cool. Remember when I mentioned that this project focused more on its platforming instead of the combat? Well, it's true. However, it makes up for it by challenging encounters you'll face the further you reach your destination. I still remember discovering this area when I decided to wall run, as I assumed this was where I needed to be, and clearly it was not, as I got my ass handed to within 5 seconds from just facing these huge, whatever these guys are called. Just look at how much damage he did to me. In the early game, forget about it. I like the combat here. I would have liked it more if it was a little more smoother. It can also feel so forced considering most of my personal issues doesn't even have to do with the combat. It's the surroundings. Specifically 2 major boss battles, I was very disappointed with the outcome of those battles at some point. I even had to use my shield. I rarely use it, but it's not like it holds on forever, as it drains your mana right on the top bar of your health. It's annoying and downright brutal. Not only having to worry about your enemies, but the environment's filled with bullcrap. That seems almost impossible. I just wish there was a way to not take damage. In a way, if I did, I can say it's my fault. I'll make sure I won't make that same mistake again, but here, it doesn't seem that way. Now, there will be topics that I've never discussed in my reviews that you'll see on the channel, so be aware of that. I've already talked about the game design for Bluefire, to its concept, and to its challenging environments, but I've never talked about the levels specifically. And one level I fell in love with throughout my playthroughs was Stoneheart City. Part of that reason is because of the soundtrack. It just fits the entire theme of this project. In fact, every level except this one bullshit level all have a theme that fits the tone and settings. I also like how by the time you reach to a specific area, you get to warp to any level you want to go and see where you picked up at. And then there's a guy like me that has this option to warp, but I'd rather explore these levels without it since I know my way around these parts by heart. What Bluefire adds are these voids that are optional if you want more HP. Sooner or later you'll have to do them anyways, but oh man, they are tough. Not exactly all of them, but some of them are completely bullshit. It'll make you say fuck that and move along like nothing happened. I really like trying these voids out, and I like a challenge, but it can feel rough on the edges at times, and still, I like these levels and I like these voids. They're fun and entertaining in my own ways. The feeling, look, and design for Bluefire had my interest before entering the mysteries within Penumbra. The footage I have here shows everything you need to know about this development. There are times it may seem overwhelming facing these high risks of momentum, movement, and strategies. And because I like a challenge, it's fun too. Something to keep me on edge, feet and toes throughout the entire game. I like features that were added here to somewhat extend more than what was already here. I love going back to the main menu just to hear that opening theme for more than 10 minutes. No, seriously, I really do that. I also love dashing through these levels just to admire the developers' hard work and effort. Bluefire doesn't crush your hope of despair, even if a certain extent of the design can be a little unfair and push it too far. There is still enough to offer that I would wish people to get hooked on. You play your cards how you want. The odds stacks up against me, but understand that not every game is perfect. In fact, no games are. We all should know that by now. Some ups and downs, but it's manageable. My personal preference and perspective, well, I'm not thinking about bringing this topic all the time when it comes to reviewing these projects, because I feel like there's no point if most of the time I always bring up my opinions. Well, that's part of reviewing, you know, it's part of being a professional. You're supposed to give your personal thoughts and opinions to these projects and be honest with yourself and the viewers as you speak properly. But yes, I do consider Bluefire to be one of the best games of 2021. Without the inspirations, it's no doubt a unique project. Had some elements that I was very fixated on getting into, so yes, I do enjoy Bluefire as a whole. But there's no mistake, Bluefire is a hidden gem that'll have players wishing for more or exiting out without a satisfying closure of mastering these challenges that awaits you for your expectations to be high. I give Bluefire an 8.5. I was thinking between an 8 or 9, and I was like, you know what, let's bring the percentage back. So I said 8.5, well deserved. This is one of the best games I've played so far. It's going into my top 10 best games of 2021. The year is starting off strong with these unique creative indie projects. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and be sure to leave a like, hit that notification bell to get the latest uploads. And also to point out, leave a like on my new Haven video. That's also another project I really enjoyed from this year so far. I really want that support from that video only. I don't really ask for much, but if I wanted to, then that's one video I really hope you guys watch. I took some time on that and some serious notes. So yes, please do watch that, and if you want to support me, go on my Instagram, Hypebeastman official, to get the latest news. And peace. Oh, and by the way, make sure you check these two videos out. I put in hard work on them, and I would highly recommend them. They're highlighted videos, and I'll still do more of these throughout the years. This year is going to be packed for the channel, so make sure you stick around for more updates for the Hypebeastman. A lot of games I'm fixated on getting into, so you'll see a lot of them this year, and make sure you hit the thumbs up for each and one of them. Thank you so much for your support.